Hello and welcome to the Sherlock reel. That music, the intro's getting better. I'm trying every week to try and sort that out, but the glitches are still happening for some reason. But it's getting better. Welcome here today, and today we are discussing 90s comedies. A couple of these films, and I'm guessing that people watching here today has as well. Ted, why don't we start with yourself?
Yeah, how
Introduce
you doing?
yourself.
As most people will know from previous episodes, my name's Ted, and I run a podcast called Retrotainment, where we look back at retro films from previous years. Carl's been on, did a great episode on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and looking forward to this one now. 90s comedy, big hitters in here.
Oh yes. And Brian, yourself.
It's doing good. Great to be on here discussing the best 90s films and determining who will win. There's a lot of heavy hitters here. Some of them are like my all-time favorites, so we'll see what happens.
Perfect. And we do have another person joining us just a little bit later here today. And once he comes on, he can introduce himself there then. But we're going to kick off with a huge matchup here. We have Adam Sandler against Steve Martin. It's Happy Gilmore against Father of the Bride. And Ted, we'll kick off with yourself.
Oh, it's sad for Father of the Bride here, but I'm going Happy Gilmore. I think that's one of the biggest hitters here. You know, big drive.
Yeah.
Big drive on it.
I like the puns. Keep them coming.
That's all I'm good for.
Myself, I have myself for Happy Gilmore. It's an all-time classic, one of Adam Sandler's, if not Adam Sandler's best. So my vote is definitely going for Happy Gilmore. Brian, do you agree?
I agree 100%. This is all my favorite comedies of my favorite sports films of all time. You have Adam Sandler, Christopher McDonald as the Jackass. Also, you have one of the great cameos in Bob Barker himself.
That's very true. So that's three votes for Happy Gilmore, and it goes straight through to the next round. And next we have two very different films, but two all-time greats. We have The Men in Black up against The Big Lebowski. Two very different films, so it's difficult to try and vote each way. I don't want to vote first, so I'm going to throw this to Brian.
Oh man, two very different films. One you got Will Smith, the other you got John Goodman. Based on these two, I would go with Men in Black.
One for Men in Black. Perfect. And Ted, I could have the deciding vote here, but I'll throw this to you.
I don't know. See, it's a hard one. I think if I had to choose a film to watch, I'd probably choose Men in Black. But I also don't know if I consider Men in Black as much of a comedy as I would The Big Lebowski. Like the Men in Black is kind of a bit more like action comedy than pure comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas I think The Big Lebowski is a bit more on the pure comedy side. So I don't know.
True.
And since I don't know, I will leave you with I don't know, I'll leave you with the deciding vote, Carl, and I'll give one to The Big Lebowski.
Oh, you're hurting me there. Why would you leave
the option to leave it to me? You know I'm going to. I will actively make it so that it's more difficult for someone else.
I know your history. I know.
Yeah, this is what I'm good for.
I know your history. I should know better. And it's surprising when I think I have to go for the Big Lebowski here. I think the dude just edges it out. And maybe my decision is being swayed because the sequels for Men in Black weren't great, and there has been no sequel for.
I like the sequels to
Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski was going through. The third one wasn't great. Now, come on.
I liked the third.
I enjoyed it.
Nice little throwbacks in it.
There he is.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just Technical
Dara,
difficulties.
welcome.
Hello, everybody. I've been watching
Technical.
you. So
Don't worry,
I'm
it always
tuned in.
happens. It happens, Dara. You're tuned in, so you saw Happy Gilmore and The Big Lebowski go through.
I did.
Well, Cal, you could, as obviously
Perfect.
as the
Okay.
host, you could renegade your vote and make Dara be the bad guy here. You know, I'm just saying. You know, he showed up late. You could make him the bad guy.
No, it's good. It's all good. Those two moves are going through, and now, Derek, I'll give you the first vote in on this one because we have The Waterboy up against Clerks.
Oh, Waterboy.
Waterboy
I
one
know.
vote.
I know
Okay.
Clerks is a cult classic, but Waterboy, just happy or Adam all the way.
Okay. And Brian, yourself.
Same here, Waterboy. You even got Henry Winter in there, Kathy Bates, and a cameo from The Big Show himself.
Okay, Waterboy. I'm actually very disappointed. Very disappointed. If I was voting here, it would be Clerks going through.
Me too. I wish Dara showed up a bit later.
Hurts me.
Like, I like Waterboy, but over Clerks, so I don't know about this.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually not happy about this whatsoever. Waterboy going through to the next round. Next up we have actually a former winner of one of our tournaments here. We have 10 Things I Hate About You, one of our rom-coms, but it's going up against a surefire titan in comedies here, Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. And Ted, we'll start with yourself.
Do we need to vote on this? Like, let's not beat around the bush here. It's Robin Williams taking, as Mrs. Doubtfire is going to take this one, surely. Although Clerks got knocked out by Waterboy, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's nothing safe. Nothing because of that. I know that. Dara, what about yourself?
No, Mrs. Doubtfire all the way.
Glad to hear it. I mean, let's face it. It is one of Robin Williams' best.
Yeah.
I loved him in this film. You know,
Yeah.
from a child, I watched this film, and it's just absolutely hilarious. What about yourself, Brian? Would you go the same way, or would you vote?
I'm going Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm agreeing with all you guys. One of the best comedies of the 90s. It's also one of my top 10 favorite comedies of all time.
Perfect. So, Miss will go through. One star is the next round with. It's one I haven't seen, although I've heard it's one of the best comedies of all time. So we're going to start with Brian because I know it's bigger over your side of the pond than it is over here. Tommy Boy up against The Mask.
Oh boy, Jim Carrey versus Chris Farley. I gotta go The Mask. I mean, it's Jim Carrey being himself, improvising, even all the lines, so iconic. Even Cameron Diaz's first movie ever.
Perfect. So that's a one vote for The Mask. What about yourself, Dara?
Yeah, The Mask all the way again. I actually didn't know it was made by DC until last year, and then I went into all the history of it. I didn't know it was a comic, so Mask all the way.
Yeah, 3-0 Mask.
Trio Mask. Yeah, I expected that one there really to go through, especially with a more Irish panel than anywhere else. If we had a couple of Americans on here, I'm sure it might be different.
Yeah,
because Tommy Boy.
I'm with like you. I didn't know what Tommy Boy was really. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah,
I think maybe a different film
I know for a fact it's huge.
Yeah, it's big, but I still think that The Mask was big enough that it made a big splash across in the States as well. So I still think even with a couple more Americans, we probably would have seen The Mask go through.
That's a possibility. Speaking of Americans, we have American Pie up next, up against A League of Their Own. And Ted.
I think probably American Pie. I think American Pie had more success as well, and then was able to go on to do more from there. So I know we aren't really looking at the sequels in the votes, but the fact that they were able to continue on that much,
yeah,
I think does need to be taken into factor for how good it was. So yeah, I think American Pie.
That's true. I'd sit down. I would sit down and I'd watch another American Pie film now if they made it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the entire series. Not the spin-offs. The spin-offs I couldn't watch, but with the main cast, I'd still watch it. I think I'd still find them hilarious. Dara, yourself?
Yeah, like yourself, American Pie, and exactly what you said. I can still watch them to this day. Can't watch the spin-offs that went straight to DVD. No, not here for it. But no, the originals, yeah.
Perfect. Would you have been the same there, Brian, yourself?
Same here. I really wouldn't count Leader as a comedy. I find it more of a drama-esque film than a comedy, so American Pie has more laughs than League of Their Own.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair, yeah.
It might not be a thing in the States,
although
but
A League of Their Own is funny.
When I seen A League of Their Own, the first thing I think of, and it's probably not the same in the States, is the comedy panel show. I think of that before I think of the film, which I think kind of. I think that stands to, if someone says American Pie, I'm not thinking about something else,
That's true. I suppose that is kind of the difference between, just where we're living, basically.
Yeah, it's probably to do with where we live, but at the same point.
That's true. And there's a big next, and I actually don't know which way is. So we have Friday against Bad Boys. And we'll start off with Dara. It's a
hard one. I'm definitely going to. Bad Boys takes it. Bad Boys. That duo.
Right.
But I'm interested to see what the lads think.
The duo is elite.
It is.
Well, as the comment section here is saying Friday as Bad Boys isn't a comedy. I disagree. Bad Boys is definitely a comedy, more action comedy as Ted,
I would argue that Bad Boys is an action comedy as much as Men in Black is an action comedy.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Ted, are you? Which way are you going to vote?
Yeah, I knocked Men in Black out because it's an action comedy over a pure comedy earlier, so I can't be that hypocritical to go Bad Boys here. Friday is more pure comedy than If I had to sit down and watch one, I'd probably watch Bad Boys, but Friday's the more pure on the comedy, more on the pure comedy side rather than action comedy, which is what Bad Boys is. So.
Perfect. So that's votes for, or sorry, one vote each way. So Brian, it comes down to yourself.
Ooh, I'm sorry there, Josh McCuca, but I gotta go Friday.
Friday goes through to the next round. If it was me voting on this one, I would be voting Friday myself. It's definitely one that I love. It's a hilarious film. I actually only saw it there last year, and so it's one that I'll sit down and watch again and again. To be honest. So next up, it's a strange two films to go up against each other. It's The Wedding Singer up against Clueless. And Ted, what about yourself? We'll start off there.
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't think either of these are going to be big hitters anyway. I think they're going to this will probably, like, unless one of them gets a very favourable draw. Yeah, I think unless one of them gets a very favourable draw in the next round, I think that this could be as far as either of them go. I'll go with The Wedding Singer because I'd probably prefer to watch it over Clueless, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not mad on either of them.
I love The Wedding Singer. Wedding Singer is probably my favourite Adam Sandler film.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just not my favourite Adam Sandler film, so maybe I compare it to some of the other ones he's done and just don't think of it as highly because of that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. What about yourself there, Dara?
Yeah, I'd go Wedding Singer. Like that Adam Sandler in the 90s is just pure gold for me. So that's how I'd give him the vote.
Yep, perfect. That's 2 votes for Wedding Singer. Would you say same way there, Brian?
For me, I like these 2 films. They're great comedies, but I gotta go Wedding Singer.
Perfect. Wedding Singer, 3 votes, goes through to the next round. Now we're getting onto the other side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket starts off with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, up against Mallrats. And Dara, will start off with yourself.
Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
All the way.
That's 1 vote for Ace. This was a very tough one, I think, though, because Mallrats is like... Would you agree there, Ted, or is Ace Ventura?
Yeah, I don't like Mallrats is a weird one because I've seen a lot of people dislike Mallrats as well, which I don't understand because I like Mallrats, but I've seen loads of people comment saying they just don't think it's funny at all. But I've seen the same comments made about Ace Ventura as well, and I think it's just to do... Yeah, I don't know what it is. A lot of people online seem to just dislike Mallrats for some reason. But a lot of people dislike Ace Ventura because it's...
I think a lot of people don't like...
Ace is...
I don't think people like Kevin
teenage
Smith.
boy comedy. Yeah, well, I like Kevin Smith, so I'm going to vote for Kevin Smith. But I think Ace Ventura has the same critics in that it's a teenage boys comedy. So, like, teenage boys love Ace Ventura. But... that's it.
True.
And then, like, obviously we grew up with it, so we then love it. But I see a lot of people dislike it as well, so.
That's very true. Very true. So you get the deciding vote there, Brian. Is it Ace Ventura or Mallrats going through to the next one?
Really? I gotta go Ace Ventura. The iconic line, the who, the her. And even the sequel, what did you call it? Is I prefer it more than the first one, but I still love Pet Detective.
Yeah, the second one's better, definitely.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
Ace goes through at the chagrin of Mallrats, unfortunately. And next up we have it's another Adam Sandler. Kevin Smith is officially eliminated. Kevin Smith is gone.
Disgrace.
I agree. I 100% agree. I would have put Kevin Smith's 2 films through against in the match they had, but he's gone. And we have Big Daddy, another Adam Sandler film, up against Groundhog's Day. And Dara, will start off with yourself.
That's a hard one. They're both great movies, but
in very different ways as well.
I don't find Groundhog Day that funny, considering the current climate we're in Ireland.
Well, that's very true.
I'm going to go Adam Sandler again, Big Daddy.
Adam Sandler with a vote. Brian, what about yourself?
For me, I gotta go with Big Daddy. That's the Adam Sandler film I've seen one of the most times I've seen it.
Okay, Big Daddy going through. Would you vote the same way there, Ted, or
not like?
Would you be like myself and vote for Groundhog Day?
Like, okay, I get it. Groundhog Day is a bit repetitive, all right, but I'm not having it go out with no votes. I definitely would have given. Bill Murray would have got my vote there. I love Big Daddy as well. Like, I have a lot of love for that film, but Jesus, I can't believe Groundhog Day is getting knocked out this early.
Yeah, it's quite shocking, to be honest. Madness, lads. The next one up, we've got quite far in our rom-coms. We have There's Something About Mary coming up against Rush Hour. And Brian, why don't we start with yourself?
For me, I saw Rush Hour for the first time this year, but based on the other was going up against, I gotta go to Something About Mary.
One vote for There's Something About Mary. Perfect. Dara, yourself.
That's a hard one. Because again, Rush Hour is kind of like action comedy. So I don't know. It's a hard one. I'll go Rush Hour because Jackie Chan and Rush Hour.
Perfect. So the deciding vote comes down to you, Ted. Is it There's Something About Mary?
Yeah. So this one's a bit of a weird one because I've knocked out two films I voted against two films based on them being action comedies rather than pure comedies. But then
True.
Something About Mary is.
I would argue, though,
rom-com.
I would argue that Tower is probably the funniest of the three action comedies. There, it's more more on the comedy side.
Yeah, but then Something About Mary is a rom-com as well, so it's not like I wouldn't put it as pure comedy either. So it's not like that argument. I don't feel it needs to be used in this sense. I do think that in terms of rom-coms, I think Something About Mary is more on the comedy side than it is the romantic side, which is what I would have used as my argument against 10 Things I Hate About You. I think that relies more on the romantic side than the comedy side. But Rush Hour is without a doubt one of the funniest. Even if it is a lot of action, it's more comedy than it is action. So for me, Rush Hour has to zoom past here.
Wow, that is not one that I expected, to be honest.
Same.
I expected There's Something About Mary to be going right close to the end. So next up we have Austin Powers, International Man of Three, the first one, up against Office Space. And Ted, we'll kick off with yourself.
I don't really know.
Again, two very different comedies.
Yeah, they're both very different. Austin Powers, like the whole all of the Austin Powers rely very heavily kind of on one joke pretty much throughout the whole thing. Like all of them, and it's all based around, him being, his mojo. That's the whole film is really based around that.
Mojo, baby.
Yeah, it's all based around that. Yeah, I think some of the comedy is based, not so much over here, but probably in the States, is based on him being British, and this is what British people are like. When, like, all of us Irish know that's not what the Brits are like at all. There are a lot of things, but they're not like that. But I do think it goes ahead of Office Space here, even with that all said. Office Space is very good though.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be too upset to see it get through either.
Perfect. And Dara, would you go the same way?
I would go Austin. Yeah, I would go. Purely on the fact that it's kind of making a mockery of like 007, but then it's like kind of parody that the English are really like, kind of buck teeth and stuff like that. Yeah.
Would you say probably be the best parody film of all time? Because I'm sure it would be definitely there. And anyway.
It's up there. I don't know if it'd be the best parody, but yeah, no, it's definitely up there.
Perfect. And Brian, yourself, would you have gone the same way, or was Office
I
Space your
would go
vote?
Austin Powers as well. It's my least favorite of the three, but I still enjoyed. I haven't seen Office Space yet, so
Fair reason not to
Perfect.
vote for it.
Okay.
I've put Twilight through because I hadn't seen the film it was up against, much to Carl's enjoyment. Carl's a big Twilight fan, for anyone who didn't know.
You're just spitting out lies there, Ted. You're just spitting out lies.
No, everyone, you can go back and watch the previous episode. Twilight made it pretty far. Carl's a big fan.
I seen that, yeah.
You're spitting out
big
lies.
Yeah.
Pure and utter lies you're speaking. Next up, and you know what? There's this film that's coming up here. Everyone, it's a classic, and everyone. I'm expecting it to go through against the other one, but I really hope it doesn't, because it annoys me. This film, I'm not a huge fan of stupid comedy, and this I would class as stupid comedy, pun intended. It's Dumb and Dumber going up against South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
ooh, oh boy.
This is actually a huge big hitter for me, I think.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of Dumb and Dumber at all. It's a pure stupid comedy, and it's not my type of comedy. I don't enjoy it at all. But South Park is hilarious, and what they did with that movie was unbelievable. I thought it was laughs all the way through the movie. So if I was on South Park, but unfortunately I'm not, so I'll let Ted kick it off.
The way you started this, Carl, I was all set to vote for Dumb and Dumber. I'll tell you that straight now. That I was all set to go through with Dumb and Dumber and to argue that Dumb and Dumber should go through just to knock out whatever it was up against. But I don't think it can go through against South Park. I think the South Park, the TV show, is great in its own right. But when they announced they were going to do a film, I was like, that is going to be a disaster. Like, that is not going to work at all. Like, the little 30-minute episodes work, but they're never going to be able to make a feature film out of it. And they did, and it's really good. So, yeah, for me,
Hilarious.
South Park I will go with South Park here. But I enjoyed Dumb and Dumber. I won't be upset to see it go through.
Brian, what about yourself?
For me, this is a tough one. I love both these films, but come on, South Park, one of the greatest animated comedies of the 90s, and the fact that it got nominated for an Oscar, and the song was performed by Robin Williams. That's a testament to its own.
I'm absolutely delighted with South Park is going through. Dara, would you have voted that, or would you have gone for Jim Carrey's classic?
I would have went Dumb and Dumber. I can't stand South Park. Unpopular opinion, but I can't stand any South Park now or then.
It's all kind of opinions, I suppose. That's why we're doing this here. We have the three voters. I'm hoping my little speech kind of swayed that a little. Next up, though, we have a Mike Myers face-off. To be honest, it's Wayne's World going up against Austin Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh boy!
Yeah, this one's not too difficult for me. This was not too difficult for me.
Why don't you start with yourself then, Ted?
Yeah, I'd go Wayne's World. As I said,
Wayne's World.
Yeah, all of the Austin Powers films are pretty much, they're quite interchangeable. Like, it's not that they're not enjoyable, but they're quite interchangeable. It's all the same story and plotline, really. Like, all the jokes are pretty much
all 3 times. Basically.
Yeah, it's all like, look how funny he is, and how like we've over accentuated British nerdiness and stuff like that. And then, but even though he's real nerdy, he's really good with the ladies and whatnot, and then loads of jokes about dicks. So that's pretty much the film. Like, it's all 3 of them.
Yep, pretty much. And Wayne's World is just from start to finish, Wayne's World is brilliant. I'm not going to put too many or spit too many things I want to say about Wayne's World here because I think it might be going true. So, Dara, are you voting the same way, or are you going for Austin Powers?
Yeah, no, Wayne's World all the way. We already have an Austin, so we don't need another
Perfect.
one.
Yeah, that's very true. Would you have gone the same way there yourself, Brian, or were you voting for
No, I would have
Austin
gone
Powers?
with Spider. I would have gone with Spider Shaggy. I prefer the second Wayne's World more, but Spider Shaggy is one of my favorite sequels. Even got the introduction of Mini-Me, Fat Bastard, and even the fight between Austin and Mini-Me in space.
I definitely think this
That's
is the
true.
better
We're
of
not
the
saying
two.
it's not a bad movie, but
I think it's better than the first Austin Powers, but it's it's better, but it's still the same premise, really, or same
100%
jokes.
agree. Yeah.
and now we are coming up last two matchups here in the first round of this, and the first one that's coming up is there's very few movies on this list that I don't like, and one of them is coming up here. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. It's Billy Madison. Not a fan of Billy Madison at all, and that's coming up against Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and John Candy's great in it. Why don't you start with yourself, there?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool Runnings.
Yep.
Yeah. Just it's the 90s. It's the 90s for me. It's Cool Runnings.
Yeah, perfect. I'm happy to see the vote go that way. Ted, are you deciding the same way, or are you breaking my heart and going for Billy Madison?
You're very lucky, Carl, because it's a terrible idea to tell me that you actively dislike one of these films, because it very much makes me want to vote for that film, but not against Cool Runnings. Not against Cool Runnings, no.
Oh,
I like Billy Madison.
So
though,
happy to hear it.
I do enjoy Billy Madison, but not more than I enjoy Cool Runnings.
Perfect. Brian, would you have voted for Billy Madison or Cool Runnings?
Yes, I would go for Billy Madison. It's like my favorite Sandler film of all time. It's like the premise how a millionaire son goes back to school, repeating all the grades again, even outdoor rules, the penguin, Chris Farley and the bus driver, and all that.
Yeah, it's just wasn't a favorite. Although the next one coming up is one of my favorites. Definitely, it's Liar Liar coming up against Robin Hood Men in Tights. And we'll start off with yourself then, Brian.
For me, I'll go
Yep.
with Liar Liar. It's like my favorite Jim Carrey film. The greatest lines, the pen is blue, I'll kick my own ass, what do you expect? Holy hell, I'm an inconsiderate prick. The roasting at the for the boss. So such great moments.
That's very true. Liar Liar with a vote there. And Ted, would you have gone the same way?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I love Liar Liar. I think it's one of the funnier films that Jimmy, and it's both quite funny, but also it has an element of more serious. Like you get to see him be a bit more serious at times as well. I do feel that Men in Tights is getting a harsh run here, though, because it is Men in Tights is good. Like, but I think Liar Liar gets the vote here.
It all depends on how this bracket lays out. You know, it's some great movies are gone out in the first round, but it's just how the bracket fell, unfortunately. And would you have gone Liar Liar as well, there, Dara?
It's a hard one. I was thinking about it the whole way through. Like, and don't get me wrong, Liar Liar is a great movie, but I would have went Men in Tights. But I'm happy to see Liar Liar go through.
Perfect. Great. So we have some big hitters moving into round two. And to start it off, we have Happy Gilmore up against The Big Lebowski. And Dara, will start with yourself.
Oh, man, breaking my heart here.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, I've found respect for the dude, but I grew up with Happy, so Happy is a place in my heart.
Your older self is hating yourself right now.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one vote for Happy. And Ted, yourself?
Happy Gilmore. This one isn't too difficult for me. The Big Lebowski is good. It is quite funny, but it got through more on a technicality in the last round for me than anything, in the fact that it was up against an action comedy rather than something else. And if it had come up against something like Happy Gilmore, it wouldn't have got through. So, won't get through here from me either.
That's fair. Brian, would you have voted the same way, Happy or Lebowski?
I gotta go with Happy Gilmore again. Adam Sandler at his finest, playing with his own great characters.
Yeah, that's Happy. Happy is great in that film. Adam Sandler is one of his best, of course. But lads, these are killing the dude. Like,
yeah, Happy would wreck him. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like Happy never came up against anybody that he couldn't get past. You know.
he got farther than he did in his hockey career.
That's true. Next up it's another Adam Sandler flick, and I hope it's not going through, because it's up against Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, it's not going through.
The Water Boy against Mrs. Doubtfire. What about who wants us to kick this one off? Brian, Water Boy or Mrs.
Come on,
Doubtfire?
it's Mr. Doubtfire. Robin Williams at his finest. Even you got James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan in the comedy.
Perfect. And Ted, yourself?
Listen, Waterboy knocked out a big hitter in Clerks, right? And I'm not going to see it knock out another big hitter in Mrs. Doubtfire. So I'm glad to see that it's getting knocked out here.
Good.
I don't know which I would have gone. This has made it easier because I don't know which I'd have gone if I'd had Clerks versus Mrs. Doubtfire, if I'm honest. So it did make it easier.
That's very true. That's very true. That would be a lot more difficult.
But it still shouldn't have happened.
Anyway,
maybe other people were thinking ahead, but I never think ahead in this because I don't like to look at what they could come up against. I just want to vote on 1 versus 1.
It's true. That's true. Dara, would you have gone the same way, or was Waterboy getting your vote?
Clean sweep for the Mrs. Doubtfire.
Glad to hear it.
Justice for Clerks.
Again,
Justice for Clerks.
I'm very definite justice for Clerks. Like, I'm very hot and cold on Adam Sandler. Some of his stuff are amazing. Some of his stuff is just, when he puts on that voice, I can't stand it.
The thing is, I actually do like Waterboy. It's just not better than either of those films. Well, apparently I'm wrong on it being better than Clerks, but it's not better than Clerks.
It's not. I agree with you, Ted. I agree with you. Well, we're going to start off. The next one is The Mask up against American Pie. And Dara, what about yourself?
I'm going The Mask. Mask.
Perfect. Mask. Brian, Mask or American Pie?
Same here, The Mask all the way.
Okay, I'm actually surprised where I've voted American Pie here myself. Ted, would you have gone? Which way would you have gone?
I enjoyed The Mask, but I don't think it's funnier than American Pie. I'm surprised by that one getting knocked out. So yeah, I would have gone American Pie.
Yeah. Okay, so it's The Mask going through. It looks like the ones that are going through are the ones with the big comedy actors. So far, Adam Sandler, Robin Williams, and Jim Carrey through to the next round. Will we have another big time actor in Adam Sandler again, because it's The Wedding Singer up against Friday?
No.
And Ted, yourself, you can go
Right.
first.
Friday's going through here for me.
One vote for Friday, and
Who?
Dara.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you froze or not. So we're going to have to go. I'll go Friday.
It's a
I'm
tough
going
one.
Friday.
I know it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Friday. Oh wow. Okay. As much as I love Friday, Wedding Singer is one of my favorites of all time. Even though the crap I just said about Adam Sandler, he doesn't do the stupid voice in this one. It's stupid comedy. What about yourself, Brian? Which way would you have
For
swung on
me,
this one?
I would probably go with Singer, since I haven't seen Friday.
The Wedding Singer. With that, Friday goes through to the quarterfinals in this, and we start off the next one with we're talking about Jim Carrey, we were talking about Adam Sandler. Let's put them against each other, will we? It's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective against Big Daddy. And Dara, we'll start with you.
Killing me here. Where are we going?
I never said that being on this show is easy. It's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hurts your inside.
Definitely hurt my insides. I'm gonna I'll give it to Jim for this one. I'm gonna go Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura. See, both of these films I don't think should be in this round. I think both of them should have gone out in the last round against Mallrats and Groundhog Day. I think Ted agrees with me. Which way are you voting this way, though, Ted?
What did Dara vote for?
Ace Ventura.
Then I'm not being the bad guy. I'm never the bad guy. I'm always the good guy. So I'll leave the deciding vote.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
It's all down to you then, Brian. Which one goes true? Is it Ace Ventura or Big Daddy?
Ace or Big? I gotta go with. I love Ace, but I love Big Daddy more, so I'll go with Big Daddy.
Big Daddy goes through to the next round. Wow. Okay. Perfect. So next up, there is Rush Hour up against Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. And we'll kick this off with Brian, yourself.
I would probably go with what are the choices again? Rush Hour and
Rush Hour against Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Oh, I gotta go with Austin Powers on this one. I love Rush Hour, but Austin Powers is way better.
Okay, one vote for Austin Powers. Or yourself, is it Rush Hour going through, or is it Austin Powers?
It's gonna be Rush Hour for me, between the two of them.
Rush Hour.
I see you're a man of class, Dara. Don't make yourself the bad guy. I like it. That's a tactic I use, and I expect others to use it whenever they get the chance. Carl keeps giving me the chance to use it, so I always use it, and it's always against him. Anytime he gives me the option, he makes himself out to be the bad guy, and he knows I'm going to do it, but he still keeps letting me do it to him. For me, I'm going to go Rush Hour, though. It doesn't... Austin Powers it's funny, and it had its place and its time, but when you look back at both of them now, I think if you sit down and watch... If you'd never watched Austin Powers and went and watched it for the first time now, I don't know if you'd find it as funny now if you'd never seen it before. Whereas if you go back and watch Rush Hour now, I think you'll still find that very funny. So,
very true.
Well, that's true. It's very true. Oh, lads, I'm sorry to do this to you, because this one actually hurts my soul. And I'm ginger, and that's because I don't have a soul.
Yeah, you don't have a soul.
Because it's It's South Park up against Wayne's World.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a toughie. It's a very, very tough one. Dara, we'll start off with yourself.
One of the lads are going to be bad because I'm going Wayne's World all the way. It's the reason why we were bullied in school. It's South Park.
Yeah, but not this film.
That's
Not
very
this
true.
film.
That's
That was
very
later. Later South Park is what got you. And wait, hang on. It's not South Park's fault. It's that ginger kid's fault. If he hadn't gone and made that stupid video, South Park wouldn't have, parodied it. Like,
Very
that's
true.
his fault. He should never have done that. What an idiot.
No, we should not. But South Park took it and ran with it. Like they have so many things. Right, but your vote, Ted, or does Wayne's World rock on true?
Oh no, like I'm never gonna be the bad guy, Carl. I'm a good guy, I'm never gonna be the bad guy. South Park gets my vote, and therefore I'm not the bad guy.
Before you vote, if Brian had voted for South Park, which way would you go?
That doesn't matter, because then I am making myself the bad guy. I won't be tricked into being the bad guy. Do you understand that? Like, I'm a man of culture, a man of class. I'm not the bad guy. So I have to vote for South Park and then make somebody else the bad guy. Yeah, don't let me.
Okay, so I have to avoid this. I have to avoid it. Okay, Brian, is it South Park or Wayne's World?
South Park all the way. The fact that I made the show an animated musical, even had like Bat War against Canada. I mean, perfect comedy.
You two soulless heathens over there raging. You can see it in his.
I can tell you one thing, because Dara doesn't like South Park, so he's not happy about this at all. South Park is going through to the next round. But next up, see who South Park will be going up against is Cool Runnings up against Liar Liar. Yeah. And Dara, will start out with you.
It's Cool Runnings all the way. I thought it was going to be hard, but no.
All right, Cool Runnings. Don't ask Ted second. So, Brian.
I mean, it's Liar Liar, Jim Carrey as finest role ever.
Perfect. Okay, so that's another one. That's one for Liar Liar. So now, Ted, you have to be the bad guy. How do you like that?
You see, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy here because you see, one of them is like Jim Carrey already has a couple of films that I've got through here, and then the other one's a poor Jamaican bobsled team. So to be the bad guy,
he has one video or one, but that's the man.
Yeah, but that's his. That's
go much further.
Yeah, but he had one. He had a couple of chances to get through. And that's on him that he didn't get through. Whereas this poor Jamaican bobsled team, you'd have to be a bad guy to vote against them. And I'm not a bad guy. I'm a good guy. So Cool Runnings. I'm a good guy.
Cool Runnings. Okay.
You put me last thinking I was going to be the bad guy.
I'm actually surprised a little bit at that one, to be honest.
I'm not a bad guy. I couldn't do that to a poor, and they are poor, Jamaican bobsled team. I couldn't do that to them.
Okay, surprising. If looking at the start of this bracket, if this was my finals, I wouldn't have believed it. But we start off the quarterfinals with Happy Gilmore and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, fucking hell.
This is a big...
Yeah.
This is Sophie's choice.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler against Robin Williams. Two of the funniest films I've ever seen, to be honest. So, Dara, why don't you start with yourself?
No.
I'll start if nobody else wants to, because I know which one I prefer. Yeah,
Yep.
I know which one I prefer. If someone gave me an option, we're gonna take you to a cinema and you can watch one of these two films, but it's only one or two. Which one are you gonna go to? And the answer is gonna be Happy Gilmore for me, to be honest. Like, I do love Mrs. Doubtfire. I think it is very funny, but given the option, I know I would go to see Happy Gilmore. Even if I'd just seen Happy Gilmore, I would go to see Happy Gilmore.
Okay, we'll vote for Happy. Brian, what about yourself? Do you go Happy or do you go Doubtfire?
Okay, this is a tough one. Both of these films are iconic, great 90s films, but you gotta give it to Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay. The hard decision has gone to you.
No, I'm not happy. Oh my god!
No, you are happy Gilmore. You are. You've got Shooter McGavin. You eat pieces of shit like you eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
I know.
But you got Mrs. Doubtfire.
Bob Barker fights him, and what's Mrs. Doubtfire got? Some guy who wasn't good at looking after his own children, and then he got kicked out of his house, lost his wife, and then dressed up as a woman. That's a bit creepy, lads. That's a bit creepy, to spy on his family. That's a bit creepy. Whereas you've got Happy Gilmore, he puts his lovely granny into a nice nursing home.
Yeah, he's trying to get the house. Yeah.
Yeah, he's saving all those. He's saving all those.
Nursing homes run by Ben Stiller, like Shut Factory.
But he didn't know that, He thought he was looking after her. He wanted to buy back her house. He used all of his winnings to buy back that house. A lovely, lovely gesture by that young man. A crocodile bit off Chubbs' hand. Happy found that crocodile, and he sorted him out in memory of Chubbs, as
But he ended up killing Chugs though.
He didn't kill Chugs.
Yeah, he did. Showing the alligator head and made it fall off.
No. He was like, listen, I've killed this guy who stole your hand. He thought that was a nice gesture. He was trying to be a good guy, and Chug's got a bit of a surprise. Yeah, that happened. But Happy Gilmore, he's a good guy looking out for his family. Gave up on his ice hockey career, because he knew he wouldn't make enough money from it to save his granny's house. Gave it all up just for his old granny.
He's an angry man. That's the thing.
Yeah, he has anger.
He
has anger issues, but he eventually.
Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire, what he does is he wants to be part of his family's life.
See his kids again.
He wants to. He goes so far.
Why wasn't he allowed? Why wasn't he allowed to see his kids?
He goes because him and his wife.
Because his wife got custody.
No, but why did she get custody? Oh yeah, because he brought a lot of live animals into their house. He's a very fun dad. He's very fun. He's great as the fun. He's great as like a fun uncle. But you're trying to raise these children, and you're basically telling them there's no rules. You're quitting your job. How are you going to afford to pay for that house? He's not a great father. Not a great father figure. He's a very fun guy. But he didn't look out for his family.
But he
did not look out for his family.
He proves that he is a fun guy, and a caring guy and a caring father when he does dress up as Mrs. Doubtfire, and he proves that he can do it. He just never didn't do it beforehand. But
he just wasn't bothered beforehand. He just wasn't bothered beforehand. Yeah, okay, I get you. He just wasn't bothered about raising his children right the first time. Oh yeah, I get you. That's a real nice guy. I'm not
Dara,
bothered
has
about
any of these arguments swayed you?
No, it's just made it more difficult. But I think I'm going to have to go. I have to go with Happy. As much as is there. Happy's there.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it is.
Goes through to the next round.
Lovely old granny. After his lovely old granny. And we saw that woman get hit by a car.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, next up we have The Mask against Friday. And Ted, we'll start off with yourself.
I was surprised that The Mask got through the last round. I think I'd be surprised for it to see it get through this round as well. So I'm going to go for Friday. I think Friday has a bigger impact. It's still known today. A lot of scenes from that film are still used today in reactions and things like that. So yeah,
And it memes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it still has a bigger cultural impact than The Mask did. The Mask is good for its time. It is quite funny, but I don't think it stands up as well as Friday does.
Perfect. That's Friday going. We're getting one vote. And anyway, what about yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm just going with Mask. Going to Mask. That suit,
One
man.
vote for Mask.
That yellow
Okay.
suit.
I do like the yellow suit.
Okay. And next up, then, you get the deciding vote there, Brian. Who are you voting for?
I'm sorry there, Ted, but The Mask is moving on.
Jesus, it's really... People really rate that a lot higher than I think. Yeah, people are rating that a lot higher than I think.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's fine. It's a fine movie, but like better than American Pie, better than Friday. I mean, oh god, no. All right, okay. Let's go with Big Daddy up against Rush Hour.
Oh.
Brian, we'll start off with yourself.
For me, this time I'm going to go Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, okay. Yourself, do you agree, or is Adam Sandler getting your vote?
Me?
Yep.
Oh. Is Adam Sandler getting my vote? No, I've already given him a vote. Rush Hour holds up better.
Perfect. Okay, so that's Rush Hour 2 votes. Would you have gone the same way, Ted, or?
No, I'd have given it to Big Daddy. I'm a good guy. I wouldn't have
really?
done him dirty like that. Yeah, I wouldn't have done him dirty like that. No, like honestly, I Big Daddy has I have a lot of love for that film. I don't mind it getting knocked out by Rush Hour, to be honest, but I do have a lot of love for Big Daddy. I think it is quite funny.
Perfect. The last of the quarterfinals we have, and it's probably the toughest. Actually, no, Happy Gilmore and Doubtfire was the toughest one there.
Yeah.
We have South Park up against Cool Runnings. I'm going to start with Dara because I already know where his vote's going.
Easy. I'm going to kiss my lucky egg. Cool Runnings.
One vote there, and Brian, what about yourself? South Park or Cool Runnings?
South Park.
South Park. Perfect. So, Ted, you get to decide the vote.
Remember there
Is
per
it
team.
South Park or Cool Runnings?
Yeah, listen. South Park had a nice run here, and it got the run it deserved for transitioning from being a 30-minute, little skit show that I genuinely never thought that they'd managed to make a good film out of. I really didn't. And it had a good run. It knocked out some big names, but it's not funnier than Cool Runnings, I don't think. So yeah, Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. Perfect. We're into the semi-finals right now, and listen, you could have given me a million quid, and I wouldn't name 4 best 90s comedies that would end up in this semi-final bracket, and I couldn't have gotten it down to these 4. Not a chance.
You would have had Happy. You would have had Happy.
But I probably would have had Happy, but the other 3, I don't know if I would have. But let's see how this ends up, because we have Adam Sandler up against Jim Carrey in The Mask. Ted, we'll start with yourself.
Happy Gilmore. It's honestly like it's one of the funniest films. The Mask is good, but again, like I was surprised The Mask has got this far. And it's not to say I don't like it. Yes. I do like The Mask. There is funny parts in it, but I was surprised it knocked out some of the things it did knock out. But I don't think it's going to get past Happy Gilmore here. Not much does get past Happy Gilmore. Even Shooter McGavin can't get past him. Shooter McGavin had to fight that guy out in the parking lot, that big monster. Yep. And that if he's on Happy's side, then The Mask has to fight him, and he's not beating him either. So
Perfect. So that's happy, or that's a vote for happy. Are you voting the same way, or are you voting for Jim Carrey's mask?
Who? Dara or me?
Oh,
Dara.
happy,
Dara, okay.
happy all the way.
Happy
Two
for
for
happy.
happy.
So happy is going through. Would you have voted? Would you have voted the same way there, Brian, or were you voting
Yes,
for Jim
I
Carrey?
will go with happy.
Happy, clean sweep for happy through to the finals, and meeting him up in the finals is Rush Hour up against Cool Runnings. And Dara, we'll start with yourself.
Again, Cool Runnings is the 90s for me, man. Sticking with Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings with a vote. Okay. Ted, yourself?
Oh, good guy Ted. Definitely not going to be the bad guy. Definitely not going to be the bad guy. Never going to be the bad guy. Never going to be the bad guy. Yeah, I'm never going to be that. Never going to be the bad guy. Rush Hour. I'm never the bad guy.
Okay, you're a bad guy in my eyes.
No, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I give everyone a fair chance. Put them back on level playing fields. I'm a good guy. Fair guy.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Okay. And Brian, you get the deciding factor. Is it Rush Hour or Cool Runnings going through to the finals?
I'm going to go with Rush Hour because the fact that they're voting against Mrs. Doubtfire.
So Rush Hour goes through to the finals. So we have our finals. It is Happy Gilmore against Rush Hour. The best 90s comedy of all time. We'll start off with yourself, Ted.
Happy. Simple as it's definitely
Happy
funnier
Gilmore?
than Rush Hour. Rush Hour is good. It is funny, but when you're talking pure comedy versus action comedy, I've already set the precedents. Pure comedy is going to beat out action comedy, even if it is more on the comedy side than the action side. Happy Gilmore.
Perfect. Dara?
Happy.
I know you're heartbroken that Cool Runnings is gone, but
Man, I'm happy all the way. Happy got me into Subway. Happy got me into fucking hockey.
Happy Gilmore. Perfect. Happy Gilmore. Brian, would you have gone the same way?
Same, Happy Gilmore.
That's official now, yeah.
Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore, it's official. Happy Gilmore wins.
Okay, now that we have that official, I'll ask Dara. Had Cool Runnings come in against Happy Gilmore, what would you have gone?
Oh, happy, still happy.
Okay, see, this is why I was this is why I was worried. This is why I was definitely not going to be the bad guy, because I was really worried that if I put Cool Runnings in, you would vote against me, and I knew that it could then come down to the wire, and because I'd made Happy go through against Mrs. Doubtfire, that people might vote against it, because I'd pushed so hard for Mrs. Doubtfire to be knocked out by it and shit on Mrs. Doubtfire and made it out to be a bad film, which I don't think it is, but when it comes down to a war, you got to fight fire with fire. So I had to,
Absolutely.
I had to shit on that film to make Happy look even better. And I was afraid that if I let you have the vote for Cool Runnings against Happy Gilmore, the Happy Gilmore might then get beaten out by Cool Runnings, and I don't think that would have been right. So I knew Rush Hour would get the vote. I knew the deciding vote would go to Rush Hour if I didn't give the vote for Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Or I was confident that would happen. So
You're playing strategically, yeah.
I played that strategically to ensure that I didn't have to be the bad guy and vote against Cool Runnings against Happy Gilmore and see Happy Gilmore get lost. Yeah. I don't usually think ahead, but
Perfect.
This time
so
I
it's
was
definitive. It's definitive. We have our victor. We have Happy Gilmore winning the greatest 90s comedy of all time. It's a strange way to get there. Let's be honest, it was always going to be in the last couple in anyway, but for the way it got there, the ones that went to go up against, I probably wouldn't have put Rush Hour myself as number 2. But Either which way, Happy Gilmore
I think Mrs.
wins.
Doubtfire was probably number 2, to be honest. I think Mrs. Doubtfire would have got number 2 if it hadn't come up against Happy previously.
Yeah.
Just it got an unlucky run that instead of getting to the final and then having that big final, it was like you had that final, like in a World Cup.
Very true.
Like you have that final in like the semis or in the quarters.
Very true. Very true. So we're going to finish up here and let everybody promote what they have coming up. Brian, what do you have coming up there yourself?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. This past week I was on Schmo Talks, hosted by Aaron. Thursday they do Whiz Quiz. Last night I was on Movie Heroes, Tier Record Fights, and that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Dara, yourself?
Nothing really. Possibly more quarantine. We'll see what happens with the 5th of April.
Well, that's very true. That's very true. And Ted, yourself?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at Retrotainment on Facebook and Retrotainment1 on Twitter. We just look back at it's mainly old films currently, or well, like not always old, but retro films. They're nothing too new or modern. We just look back at them. We've done some sports, some video games, and things like that. But yeah, just looking back at stuff from the past, blasts from the past, and talking through them. Our most recent one that we put out was Dogma, which was one, another Kevin Smith who, didn't get any love in here today, but he should have. So I'm going to give him that love now. And I think if Dogma was left out because it would have been too good, just like Space Jam was left out of the sports one because it was too good.
Space Jam.
Yeah, that's what happened there. Like, so that's why Dogma wasn't here.
Just like Space Jam was left out of this one.
Space Jam isn't just a comedy, It's a cinematic masterpiece. You wouldn't just boil it down to a comedy,
Yeah.
Fair enough. And well, that is the Sherlock reel. We have found our victor there this week for 90s comedies. We're going to break next week, and we'll be then returning with comic book movies. So that'll be a big show there now in 2 weeks. Hopefully everybody will tune in for that one. Thanks for being here today. Hope you've enjoyed.